Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Hi, ladies. So I am back. I'm late. I do apologize because I was talking on TikTok, and that's why it took me. Y'all, I don't know what it is with TikTok, but that's why I don't need to be on TikTok because the clock app, it be having me over there talking, and then the next thing you know, I'm like, oh my God, girl, I've been on here for like 4 hours. So I already told this story on TikTok, but I said that I was going to do it over here. So let's get into it. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you. Hopefully work is going well. So let's get into this topic. So yesterday I saw the comments. And I think we need to talk about this because this is something that I don't really see people talking about. I'm like, am I the only one that's experienced this? Hold on. Okay, here it is. So yesterday I made this tweet and I was like, I'm ready to tell my story. It's a testimony, y'all. It's a testimony. Can we talk about the pick me in friendship? Your friend chose the in crowd or cool people over a genuine friendship with you and left you out. Now you pop in. They want their role / position back after abandoning you. Okay. All right. Let's talk about it, right? No, let's really talk about it. So I got to start from the very beginning, and I got to give you some backstory on my life because in order for all of this to make sense, I just have to do that. But please, all the questions that you may have, can you please save them for later because it's just going to make the story time more complicated. So, okay, so I need to start. I need to start with after I dropped out of college. If you did not know, I dropped out of college after my freshman year. I went through an essay situation. I walked away from a full-ride basketball scholarship, and I did what was best for me at this time because I just could not go back to that school. It was just too much. So I dropped out. And when I dropped out, me and this friend, we had been friends probably since middle school, like 7th grade, like we were more like associates because we went to the same school, but we didn't become like really friends. Like I didn't get to know her on a real level until after high school. So we met in middle school, 7th grade to be exact. And then we went through middle school, high school together. And then it wasn't until after we graduated, I dropped out of college, moved back home, and she was going to community college where we ended up becoming close and we became really good friends. So our friendship was toxic. So that means I was toxic, she was toxic. And when two people come together that are toxic, you create a toxic relationship. So how was I toxic? I really feel like my toxicity is Joan. Especially during this time of my life. Like I was Joan. I was the people pleaser. I was the giver who would allow people to take advantage of me. I didn't really have boundaries. I didn't really stand up for myself. I was kind of like a pushover. I would always be the one that would want to make peace and make it right. And I was toxic. Like I was a people pleaser, and I was also desperate for friends. So like that was my toxicity during this time. My friend that I became really good friends with, like she kind of reminds me of Tony. Tony is more like selfish, self-centered. She only cares about herself. And yeah, like that's just how she was. But I didn't mind it. Like it wasn't in my opinion, it wasn't like she was just hard to be around. It's just she had her ways about herself that made her toxic, that made her selfish or like self-centered. So she was just one of those people where she did talk about herself a lot, but we also had like a very deep relationship, friendship. Like we would talk about esoteric things, controversial. Like we would also talk about conversations that aligned with like conspiracies. We talked about YouTube. We talked about the future. So like I had a intellectual type of friendship with her where I was able to talk to her about things that if I talked to anybody else about, they would probably say something wrong with me or like I'm weird or something like that. So she was like that go-to friend. Like if you wanted to have an esoteric, deep conversation about whatever, conspiracies or just wild theories about life, she was that go-to person to like have that conversation with. I know a lot of you are going to ask, well, what is her sign? Sagittarius. So, you know, Sagittarius tend to be very, what's the right word for a Sagittarius? They're very out there. Like they love attention, but then they also like to go off and do their own thing. They like to explore. They like esoteric things. They love music. So me and her like really connected on a lot of things. So yeah, we explored, you know, conspiracy theories and things like that. So understand when it comes to zodiac signs, every zodiac sign has a shadow side and every zodiac sign has a light side. So we were both toxic. My shadow side was also in this friendship and her shadow side was also in this friendship. So we're equals. So please don't take it as like, oh, like Sagittarius are like the worst ever. No, that's not the situation here. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Switzerland. Okay, we got Switzerland in the world. Yeah, so like don't yeah, oh, Sagittarius is yes, they are really they're just I just liked how we could have conversations and it would be just be so out there and like out of the box. She was like the only person I could like really truly be myself around. And when it came to like my inner deep thoughts, I could share them with her and she wouldn't judge me for it. Like she was that type of friend, but she did have like that Tony me type of side to her too. So that was just her. But it's like you know, with every friend that you make, like there are things about them that you love, and then there are things about them that annoy you. And so like just part of it, just that side of her was annoying, but I was willing to deal with it because I liked her. You know, we were friends. So yeah, Sagittarius they're judge free. That was probably another reason why I felt really comfortable with her. So moving on. So after high school, we became very close. I had moved back in with my parents. We started hanging out every day. Now, being at home was the worst thing ever during this time because my parents were mad that I had dropped out of college. So I didn't want to be at home. To be honest, being at home sucked because they were mad at me. They were disappointed in me because I had dropped out of college and I had basically given up on a free education. Like telling that to your Black parents. Okay. So being at home, I didn't want to be at home. Like I did not want to be at home. So I would go escape to her house. She stayed at home with her mom, and her mom was just more laid back, chill. She wasn't really that strict, and she let me come over and like hang out. And so at the time, I worked at this grocery store, Price Chopper, Kansas City. So I worked at this grocery store, and her mom's house was around the corner. And so before work, I would go over there and hang out with her. After work, I would go over there and hang out with her. And we had a very codependent friendship. That's what made our friendship so toxic. She had a toxic mother. I had a toxic father. And we would bond together over our toxic parent. And so we would like always open up to each other about like our toxic parent and like what we were experiencing and what we were going through and our frustrations and the things that we had issues with both of our parent, right? So we had a very codependent relationship because we were looking for emotional support in each other, and it was just very toxic. So our relationship would be, we would talk like every day, all day, if not all day, half the day, a third of the day. If not talking on the phone, we would be texting all day, half the day, or a third of the day. Or I if I wasn't with her, then I would go hang out with her. Like, it was just very toxic and very much codependent. And we both suffered from abandonment issues because she had the mother wound. She wanted that emotional connection with her mother. And then I had the daddy wound where I wanted that emotional connection and support from my father. And so we confined in each other in that way. And that's what made us codependent and toxic to each other. So this friend, like I said, we had been friends for a while, and that was our friendship. Now, it wasn't until therapy where it was revealed to me how toxic this friendship was. It wasn't until therapy where it was revealed to me that this friend had abandoned me in friendship, not once, not twice, but 3 times. So let me get into the abandonment. So this friend had a history. Like, one thing that I could say about her, though, was she was very insecure when it came to fitting in. And she always struggled with that. Like, she struggled with wanting to be accepted and wanting to fit in with people and wanting to have friends and like wanting to have lots of friends and wanting people to like really like her, because that was an insecurity that she had. She would always come and confide in me about different things or different interactions that she would have with other people. And she would always like second guess herself when it came to certain interactions with certain people and like making new friends and things like that. So one toxic trait, which it kind of aligns with Joan, like I was always the mother in my friendships, especially when I was younger, because I was wiser for my age. And I would always, help people through things that they were struggling with. And that was one thing I would like help her with, was her confidence. I'm like, she was a great person. You're an amazing person. Like, you know what I mean? And so I would like tell her, I was like, I don't know why you really want to fit in with them or why you want to be accepted. She had a hard time with being different, because she was different. She's a Sag. She's different. Her mind is different. Her mind thinks completely different than the people she was hanging around, because the people she would choose to hang around, they were more shallow. Like they want to hang around people that are popping, that are cool, that are like in the in crowd, that dress a certain way, that wear certain things. And it was like she was stuck between fitting in with them or like just choosing herself and being herself. So she always kind of like struggled with that, like back and forth, because she could fit in with them, but then she also had this other side to her that some would say was kind of like weird or different. And that's how we connected, because I am weird. I am different. Like, I'm into the weird shit. And that was how our friendship was created. But she just had a hard time choosing like herself. And a lot of times she would choose the in crowd over just choosing to just be herself. So that's one thing that I noticed about her when I reflect over our friendship and how young we were. During this time, we were also like 19. So we don't know ourselves. We're trying to figure ourselves out. We're trying to find out who we are. And then when you're in that weird age between 18, 19, 20, 21, and then it could even extend further than that. It's like such a weird age where you feel lost, you feel awkward, you're trying to find your style, you're trying to find out who you are. It's like a very awkward stage in your life when you're in that age range. So after we became friends and everything, we were, like I said, it was codependent and everything like that. She did abandon me. So the first time that she abandoned me, and to be honest, I didn't even know that she had abandoned me until I went to therapy, and my therapist was pointing it out that she had abandoned me, not once, but twice, but 3 times. So the first time she abandoned me, this is the craziest thing, y'all. So I don't even know where to start. Like, it's so much. Okay, so I'm just going to start with one day she reaches out to me and she asked me about what did I think about her escorting on a website called Seeking Arrangements. Now, let's think about this. This was 2010, 2011. The internet was a scary place. Okay. Our parents were telling us that the internet is not a place that you can trust. There are crazies out here. Don't go on the dating apps. There are crazies out here. Like, we need to go back to the early 2000s of not the early 2000s, but around that era, like social media was just not a place that you trust. Like you was gonna bump into a crazy or something like that. So she just randomly, yeah, y'all, it was random. She randomly hit me up and she was like, what do you think about that? Now she started hanging out with this girl. We're just gonna call her V. V was a girl that she started hanging out with. They went to school together, and I guess they ended up creating like some type of relationship because they went to school together and stuff. And V had got in her head about doing this escorting thing, seeking arrangements. Seeking arrangements has been around for a very long time. So V had convinced her, like, hey, you should do this with me. Now, the crazy thing about V is V tried to get me to escort, but she tried to get me to escort in high school, my senior year. So one day, don't judge, I got detention. And I got detention because I was reading one of them Zane books in class, and I had to serve detention after class. And so I don't know, she was in detention or something like that. I forget what the situation was, but she asked me for a ride home after class, and V was like, oh, yeah, like, can you take me home? And like her house was on the way home for me. So I was like, yeah, why not? So we get in a car, like it's small talk. We're not really talking about much or anything like that. And so one thing that we shared in common was we did read those Zane books. Like we were known for reading those Zane type of books. But y'all, when I was reading Zane, or when I was reading those like freaky deaky books or whatever, it was really telling me like the fast life was not the life that you wanted to live. It wasn't the life that you wanted to live, because the characters in those books, they would always end up like in hell or like a bad place, like hooked on drugs, or they would get beaten, or their life was always a mess. Like when I was reading those books, yes, they were interesting and entertaining to me, but I never wanted to live that life. It was just putting me up on game about how life can be, how life can go. But like, I never wanted to be the characters, because I felt like they went through a lot of hard times. So, but V, she was reading them books like, no, I'm trying to come up. Like, I'm trying to be a part of that fast life. And I'm over here reading the books like I'm learning, girl. Like, I'm not trying to live that life. So when I took her home, I pull up in her driveway and she's like, she says, hey, like, have you heard of this website called Seeking Arrangements? And I'm like, no. So then she pulls it up on her phone and she shows me like this profile that she has and everything. And she was like, you would make so much money. Like, you have a nice body. You would be a killing. Like, men would love you. Like, all you have to do is go on a few dates and they'll pay you and you could make a killing. And I told her my future plans, like, no, I just signed a contract to play basketball and I got a free ride and a free scholarship or whatever. So I have like this going on. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she like gets out the car. She walks up to her house and like, yeah, that's the end of that. Right. So then I guess V and my friend had been kind of getting close and hanging out, I guess, because they were going to the same community college and they started hanging out. They started going out. Now, one thing about V was she knew a lot of men. She knew a lot of men with money. And she was really like into that like fast life type of thing. And so my friend started hanging out with her. Ooh, the coldest winter ever was one of my faves too. But I never wanted to live that life, girl. So they started hanging out heavy. Now me, where I was in life, I wasn't trying to go out. Like, I was trying to get my life together. I had dropped out of college. I was trying to get back in school. I needed to find a job. I started working at Price Chopper. That was the best that I could do at the time, was working at a grocery store. My dad was down my back because he kept threatening to take my car away, because he was like, we're not supporting you anymore. You decided to drop out of college and walk away from a free education. Like, we're not supporting you anymore. So like, he wanted to take everything that he had given me basically away. So I was just kind of like on my own. I had to figure it out. So I'm at the grocery store trying to figure it out. I'm at the cash register, girl, trying to figure it out. Okay. And so this is where my life was. And I hated going home, because like every time I would go home, y'all, I could walk in the kitchen and you could cut the tension in the room with a knife. Your parents got an attitude. They don't want to look at you in the face. They don't like nothing that you're doing, nothing that you got going on. So like, I avoided home a lot. I would either escape to my grandmother's, or I would escape to work, or I would escape to my friend's house that I'm talking about right now. So when she linked up with V, like I said, she randomly hit me up and she was like, hey, what do you think about me doing this? And I was like, I was like, you want my honest opinion? Like I asked her, I was like, you really want my honest opinion? Because I already knew, V had came to me before all of this, like my senior year. I'll never forget it. She came to me, pulled me to the side, and then she asked me, and I was like, I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's dangerous. That's what I told her. I was like, I think it's absolutely dangerous. Because I'm like, how do you know who you're meeting? That's what I asked her. So after she asked me for my opinion on it, right? She iced me out after that. Like that means she stopped telling me stuff because she knew that I thought it was a bad idea. So she never told me anything after that about escorting or anything. She just iced me out. Now, this is a girl that would literally tell me everything for the most that I don't know. I thought she used to tell me everything, but I don't know. So this girl randomly goes missing. So remember when I said we had a codependent relationship where she would text, call for the most part? I'm depressed. All right. I'm at my grandmother's house, hiding out away from my parents because they can't stand to look at me. Right. And I'm in bed. I've been sleeping all day. It's my day off. And I just been in the back room in my grandmother's bedroom, just sleep. And I get this call and I look at my phone. It's her mom's name that flashes across my phone. And, back in the day, that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. So her mom is calling me and she's like, hey, have you heard from such and such? I haven't heard from her I haven't seen her in 3. No, she said, I haven't seen her in 3 days. I said, no. And listen, her mom was very laid back. She wasn't strict. So as long as her daughter would like text her or something, like she was cool with that. She was 19. So like 19, she felt like she was old enough to where she could handle herself. So even though this was not high school. This was when we were 19 years old. We formed a closer relationship outside of high school. So she was 19. So we were both around 19, about to go into our 20s. So she hadn't seen her daughter in 3 days. The last she heard from her daughter 2 days ago. I haven't heard from this girl all day. So I'm like, no, like I haven't heard from her. And so I instantly text her, like after I hang up the phone, because her mom was like, well, if you hear anything or if she texts you, she calls you, like, can you let me know? And I'm like, okay. So I hang up the phone with her mom. I text her. I say, hey, like, what's up? Where are you? And she doesn't respond. So then an hour passed by and I started to get kind of worried because I'm like, damn, she normally like texts me back. Like she normally will text me back right away. Nothing. So then after an hour passed by, I started to call her like, damn. And I leave her a voicemail. I'm like, hey, call me back. And about like another hour passes by, nothing. So then I start to I started to get nervous. Like, oh my God, the last time she talked to me, she talked about escorting and doing this thing with B. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why hasn't she texted me back? So then her mom calls me back again. And she's like, have you heard anything yet? And I was like, no, ma'am, I haven't heard anything yet. So her mom is hysterically crying on the phone. She's starting to freak out. And so I'm like, damn. So I call my brother. I'm like, such and such is missing. Like, can you, I don't know if my brother came to pick me up at my grandmother's, or if I had drove to my grandmother's and I told my older brother, like, hey, can you help me with this issue with such and such missing? Because my brother is like one of those people where he's dependable. Like, like he's an investigator. He's my right-hand man when it comes to a problem. So I called him. I was like, man, such and such is missing. Like, so we drive over there to her mother's house. Y'all, when I open the door, you got to understand that this woman, I would consider her to be like a tough cookie. Like I've never really seen her like this ever before. Like she's like a tough cookie. Like it takes a lot for her to like, So I'll open the door. Her mom is shaking. Her mom is hysterically crying. And her mom is freaking out. Freaking out. I felt so bad. My brother was like, felt so bad. So I'm like, damn, man. So seeing her mom like that, I start to freak out even more because I'm like, oh my God, like, did something happen to her? So I walk in, it's her mom, it's her grandmother. They're standing in the kitchen and her grandmother is on the phone with AT&T and it's like a long wait time. And then I think it was another family member. It was another family member that was there. And then my brother came in, and my brother starts like asking like questions, you know, because he's just like that type of guy. Her dad was never really in her life like that, and so my brother was kind of like coming in to like, you know, offer some male advice regarding the situation, if that makes sense. So we get there, and her mom calls the police, you know, trying to see if they can like file a missing person. But according to the time that she last spoke to her, it had not been long enough for them to label like her like a missing person. Plus, she's technically an adult, right? She's 19, 20, somewhere in there. And so then my brother is like trying to like rack his brain or whatever. He even tries texting her, calling her, like she's not responding. So her grandmother's on the phone, and then her mom, like, she gets in my face, y'all, and she's like, I'm gonna ask you one more time, do you know anything? And I'm like, oh shit. I couldn't lie, y'all. Like I cracked. I was like, the last I heard was that she was doing secret arrangements with V. And then her mom loses it. Her mom was like, I knew it. I know I didn't like that girl. And she just like gets so mad because she didn't like V. And I didn't know that. And her mom kept talking to her about V and how she like, you don't need to be hanging out with her. And I never like knew that. I never knew that. So I told her everything that I knew. I told her the conversation that we last had and how the conversation went and what we talked about and everything. And then her grandmother finally gets a hold of an AT&T customer representative to try to see if like we could track her phone, because her grandmother paid her phone bill. And we found out, it was probably about 45 minutes later, and we find out that she's driving, I guess she's like driving to Texas. Let me fast forward a little bit. So her plan was to start a new life and drive to Texas, drive to Houston to start a new life with V, and they were going to escort. And she iced me out and didn't tell me that this was her plan. So I didn't even know. So she just abandoned me, the friendship, got in a car. And the sad thing about this entire thing was V was using her because she didn't have a way to get to Houston. V was using her because she didn't have her own car. So V had convinced her, or had, you know, influenced her to, hey, like, let's start a new life. Like, we'll make it big. Like, we just got to move to Houston. It was like on that type of stuff. That typical shit that you would hear in those Zane book novels. That's where V had gotten that from. And y'all, my friend was already easily influenced, and I knew this about her, especially when it came to like the in crowd and like fitting in and stuff like that. But I didn't think she was this dumb. I did not. Because I was like, girl, this, you know, this girl is using you, right? Because she was trying to use me. And I was like, you know, this girl is using you, right? So this girl used her to drive her 1995 Honda Civic stick 12 hours to Houston to start a new life. And guess who was driving the whole time? My friend. Because V didn't know how to drive a damn stick. My friend drove the whole time. Y'all, I cannot make this up. I wish I could, but I cannot make it up. So V got her to drive 12 hours to Houston to start this new life, and they were going to be escorting, dancing, whatever the hell they was up to. I don't know. And like, y'all, so when her mom got her on the phone back in the day, if you had the Apple, you couldn't use your GPS and talk on the phone at the same time. You either had to use your GPS, or while using your GPS, your phone would automatically like take your calls to voicemail, take your texts and just save them because you were using your GPS. So this whole time, this girl been on the road driving 12 hours. I don't know when they decided to leave. I don't know when, but it had been hours before she had responded to anybody because she was using her GPS. So I guess they pull off on the side of the road and they like fill up, get some gas or something like that. And then she sees all of these text messages, missed phone calls and stuff like that. And then her mom finally gets her on the phone, and she's on speaker because we're all concerned. You know what I mean? We're all in the room like, what the hell? And Y'all, she sounded crazy. She did not even sound like herself. She sounded like she had been manipulated. Like this girl had really got in her ear and just had convinced her that this was the way, this was the truth, and this was the light. I was like, is she crazy? So me and my brother, I don't know if we stayed the night or we went home. I don't know, because I don't know, one of the two. It's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. Just the next day, right? I get this text from her, and she's like, she was like, "You a fake friend." No, she didn't say it. She was like, "You a fake bitch. You were out here telling my mom things that I was telling you in private, and like just going off on me." And I was like, what did you expect me to do? Girl, I thought something happened to you. I thought the girl had got kidnapped or something. Okay? I thought she had gotten kidnapped. And I was just like, she was like, "You're not a real friend. You a fake friend." And I could tell that all of this shit was coming from V. She was one of those people that was just so easily manipulated because she wanted to fit in, that I could tell like it wasn't even coming from her. It was V that was telling her all of these things about me, because V needed to use her still. V needed to use her to stay down there in Houston so she could have a car, so she could have somebody else to depend on when it comes to money and sharing responsibilities. Girl, this was how I was thinking even then as a young 19-year-old girl. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes it's like when you're the wise one in the friend group, it can be so taxing because you're dealing with someone that's like not on your level when it comes to maturity. And like I said, I was also toxic. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like sometimes, y'all, it's like you got to be smarter than this. So I was just like, so we got into it in text, and I just fell back. Like I just fell all the way back. She didn't even come back like right away. Like her mom was like supporting her, her grandmother was supporting her until they could get her to come back. I don't even know how they came back. I forgot. I think her mom drove down there and then they drove back or something like that. It was something weird like that. And so when she got back, like she was back home for like a few weeks, and then she finally reached out. She never apologized. I was the one that made peace with her, and I was the one that apologized and things like that. And see, that's my toxic side, is I'm always trying to make peace, and I'm always trying to make sure everybody's good and everyone feels okay. And I was the one that actually apologized. It was not her. So when I say I'm Joan, I'm Joan. very much, very, very much. So I made it right with her. I made it right with her. And if I'm being negative, the truth is negative. It's like, y'all, it's not always it's not always like, do you want my honest opinion or do you not want my honest opinion? And it's so crazy because I'm always told that I'm the optimistic one. So I apologized to her. I actually apologized to her because I did. I felt bad that because we had, I did feel bad for like telling her mom, but like she really put me in a bad position. And one thing about her was she was Tony, like she didn't care how her actions or like how she would say things or do things, how that would come across or how that would come off and how it would affect other people. She would just go and do her, and she didn't care how it may have impacted the next person. So like all the people, I want to say like all the people that was in that room, like we all cared about her, and she didn't give a fuck how we felt. Like she just left, didn't tell nobody. She didn't tell nobody. She just left and just didn't say nothing. And she didn't care how that was going to impact the people that like really cared about her. So she like that, and like that's the thing. It was our duo was kind of like Joan and Tony, and like we were both toxic, and it was like dealing with someone that's selfish, and then I'm the giver, and it's like that was just our relationship. So again, like I'm finding all of this out in therapy because I was 19 and I didn't even think that what she did was wrong. Like honestly, I didn't think what she did was wrong. I made excuses for her. Like I made excuses for why she did what she did. I made excuses for why she just abandoned me and didn't say anything. I made excuses for why she started hanging out with V and then she stopped really like talking to me. That was like my toxic trait, always making excuses for people who would do things to me that were hurtful. And then I would make excuses, and then I would like be passive aggressive towards them because I was mad or I had like built up resentment towards them. Like that was my toxic trait. And really they did something that made me feel uncomfortable or made me feel like I was disrespected or made me feel like some type of way. But I would never go to them and like express to them how I felt. So I would just let it build, or I would let the boat rock. You know what I mean? Like I have not always been this outspoken person. I've ate a lot of things. I've internalized a lot of things, and like I never would speak up for myself. And I was like a pushover, like I would allow people to basically do whatever, and I would just be passive aggressive towards them, or I would do things out of spite. I never really like stood up for myself, to be honest. So even when it came to this situation, I should have stood up for myself. But no, I ended up apologizing, and I ended up making peace with her, and I ended up trying to make things right. And so because of that, that's how I ended up getting abandoned again. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how I ended up getting abandoned again, girl. I ended up getting abandoned again because I should have stood up for myself in that moment, and I did not. This is why therapy is so important, because I didn't even think twice about this type of stuff. Like my therapist was pointing these things out to me. She was like, girl, she was like, you have a pattern of like not really speaking up for yourself or defend yourself when you're uncomfortable. You go through experiences and you just internalize them. And then sometimes you project them when you're angry or when you're mad, but you don't actually like address things in the moment. And that's my toxicity, right? So the next time she abandoned me, we're going to call this girl T. She starts hanging out with this girl named T. And they start hanging out. And again, she starts to grow distant. Now, this is just me being real. I was battling with depression. I was battling with suicidal thoughts and things like that because I just felt like everybody hated me. I'm not trying to get emotional. I just felt like everybody hated me now. Like it was just crazy. Like my parents hated me because I dropped out of college. Hell, I think I even hated me too because of where I was in life. And like I just felt like maybe I was second guessing my choices and my decisions when it came to me dropping out of school and doing what was right for me. And so I just felt like everybody hated me. It was just like I couldn't do anything right. And I was struggling already, and it was just like so much, y'all. Like it was just so much. And again, like she started hanging out with this girl. Like I said, we're gonna call this girl T. And they started getting close. And during this time of my life, like I wasn't fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was a jokester. Like I'm always gonna be funny because that's just naturally me. But I wasn't like the going out friend. Like let's go club, let's go party. Like I wasn't like the fun friend. You know what I mean? Like I was sleeping a lot. I was depressed. Like I was in my house in the dark. Like I would be in my room. If I wasn't at work, then I was in my room in the dark, or I was at my grandmother's, and I remember I would like stay in the back room in the dark, and I would just sleep. Like that was my life. So I wasn't fun to be around all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so a part of me feel like when she started hanging out with T, the way I internalized it was I just wasn't fun, and she needed to have fun because she needed someone like to go out with her and like want to go and do this and want to go and do that. And like, I didn't want to do anything because I was depressed. Like I didn't want to hang out with anybody because I was depressed. I didn't even want to be around people because I was depressed. But I would hang out with you. I would hang out with her at her mom's house, and like we would do things. I would go to the gym with her. Like we went to the gym a few times, but like I didn't want to do nothing, Plus I was broke. Like when I say like I was just at my lowest, like I was really at my lowest. So when she started hanging out with other people, I wanted to get jealous, but then a part of me was like, I can't, because it's like I'm not fun. Like that's how I felt. So she abandoned me again. When they became friends, I felt left out, and she started hanging out with T more and more and more and more and more, and I just kind of felt left out. And then probably about like a year and a half later, her mom decides that she wants to start a new life and move to Dallas. She got a job offer. She accepted the job offer. And so my friend is now moving, this time with her mother. So I remember the last day I went over there, I pull up to the house. I kind of got a little emotional because I saw the moving truck outside, and I'm pulling up to the house, and I'm there to help, like, kind of pack. My brother again is coming again because he's helping, move, heavier things and pack up the truck as well. And so I'm, like packing and just being supportive. And I didn't feel jealousy at all. Like her mom offered, and because she knew my situation with my dad, and she knew my situation with my home life, and she was like, "Are you sure you don't want to come with us?" And by this time I had already dedicated my life to God, because I had overcame taking my life. I talk about that. I had overcame trying to thinking about actually doing it. Like I remember the day that I really thought about it. So I decided that I was gonna trust God, and God was telling me no, that's not for you. So I told my friend's mom, I was like, no, I'll be okay. Like I'm going to figure it out. And I was wishing my friend well. And that was the last day that I had saw her for years. And we kept in touch. Like the first year, we still had that codependent friendship, because we would talk all the time. Like she would be in the bathroom doing her hair, doing braids, actually braiding her hair, twisting her hair, or whatever the case may be. And I would just be on FaceTime with her, talking to her, and we would be talking about YouTube. We'd be talking about our favorite bloggers. And at that time, I was talking to her about starting YouTube because I hadn't started yet. And she was also thinking about doing YouTube. She even recorded a few videos, but she struggled with being perceived. She struggled with being seen, and she struggled with being judged. She was always a talented person to me. I always thought she was very talented. She was good at dance. She was good at a lot of things. I felt like she would do good with YouTube. And so when she left, I ended up doing YouTube. I think I started my YouTube channel. She posted, and then she would delete videos, and because she would get nervous if she got comments and she didn't like them. But me, I started doing YouTube because YouTube was it was like my escapism. It was like my escape from my reality. It was an outlet for me. It allowed me to express myself. It allowed me to connect with people online. And I just loved YouTube. I loved recording. I loved coming up with creative things to do. I loved editing, and I loved adding a fire song. Back in the day, YouTube was so much fun. I had fun with YouTube. I didn't even know you could get paid for YouTube. I was just doing YouTube because I was in a bad place. And the only thing at that time that really brought me joy or something to look forward to was creating YouTube videos and creating content and doing hair and stuff like that. So that was where I was in life. And so I just stayed consistent with it because it made me happy. And my parents, my dad particularly, he didn't want me recording in his house. And he gave me this ultimatum, you can't record in my house. If you're going to record, then you need to get out. So if you watch some of my older videos, I was either recording super late at night, or I would record when my parents were not at home. And then I used a fake name to create my YouTube channel. And then I just did not tell them that I was like uploading videos because they didn't want me recording in their house. And then, so I ended up probably moving out sooner than what I really needed to. Financially, I was not ready to do it, but I did it. And I had to give my car back because my dad was like, oh, we're not supporting you anymore. So like he took the car. I bought my own car, and then I ended up moving out. I moved to like this 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with a roommate, a girl that I had met at my job. Cause I had 3 jobs. I was working in corporate, and then I was working for Whole Persons. I don't know if you know what Whole Persons is, but Whole Persons is when it's like assistant living, and like you go and you shop for people, or you go and you run errands for people, or you go with people so like you can help them basically just be active, or to get whatever they need to get done, you know? So I was doing Whole Persons, and then I was also still working at the grocery store because I was not giving up that job, y'all. I was not giving up that. One thing about me, all right, when God blessed my life with a job, girl, I was gonna keep that damn job. Nobody was gonna ever talk me out of like giving up a job. That's why all the jobs that I've ever had, I always got fired because I wasn't giving that job up. You know what I mean? I was not giving it. Like once I got a job, girl, I was gonna have that job. But I ended up getting fired from Price Chopper. I don't even know how I ended up getting fired from Price Chopper. Like I felt like they just was trying to get rid of me. And they said that I had clocked out an hour early from my shift. So they said that I was supposed to stay until 11 p.m. at night. And I ended up leaving 10 p.m. at night. And on the schedule, it said that I work from this time to 10 p.m. And then they were like, no, you walked off the job. And I was like, walked off the job? If I was going to walk off the job, don't you think I would have walked off a little earlier than having an hour left? Y'all, I was so mad. Like, it was like a miscommunication, y'all. So I ended up getting fired. They were like, well, we had you on the schedule till 11. You just walked off the job. I was like, I talked to the night manager that was like that was there, and like she counted down my register because y'all, in order for you to leave as a cashier at a grocery store, they have to count down your register at the end of the night. So she counted down my register and everything and didn't say anything about, oh, you know, you still have an hour left. So I felt like they were really just trying to get rid of me because they knew I had gotten a better job and I was still trying to keep this one. So they ended up firing me, and I was so hurt. That was like, I never had gotten fired from a job before. I was so hurt by that. I'm low key still salty. I'm low key still salty because one thing about me, I'm gonna keep a damn job. All right, that is what I like to work. I know there's some people out here where they don't like to work, but I remember when God gave me that job, and I was just like, hell no, I'm not giving up this damn job. So they fired me. So then I started working. I was working with US Bank, and they were paying me this was like my first big girl job. They was paying me better than what I was used to being paid. That's all I'm gonna say. So she's in Dallas now. I'm still back home in Kansas City. And like the first year that she was there, like we talked pretty regularly. She would always open up to me about how she was struggling to like meet new people and make new friends and things like that. And when she first moved down there the first year, she wasn't in school, but she had planned to get in school the next year. So she just had to wait because she was going through a transition. And I'm telling her, I'm like, listen, you're going to make new friends. Like once you start school, you know how school is. Like I was just telling her, like, you know how school is. Like you're going to make new friends. And she was on this blog site called Nicole Bitchy. I don't know, but like, y'all, that was our site. That was our site, Nicole Bitchy. If you wanted to be in celebrity gossip, like you had to get on these blog sites like Nicole Bitchy to get gossip. You couldn't just get on Instagram like that. So she was on Nicole Bitchy, and Nicole Bitchy had posted a blog about how to make new friends in a new city. And so she was talking to me about it. She was like opening up to me about it and stuff like that. And so I was telling her, I was like, listen, you just got to give it time. Like you haven't even been there long enough. I know a year is like, you would think it's a long time, but it's like, it's really not a long time, you know, like just give it some more time. So we were still pretty close. Like even the first year that she moved to Dallas, like we were still close. We text regularly, we talked regularly and everything. And she was working at a bank and I was working at a bank. So like we just had like, I think she was working at a bank. We just had a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on and stuff like that. So then the second year she was in Dallas, she started school, and that's when things became, it was going back to how it was with T and V. So she started making new friends, and then all of a sudden the distance was starting to come in. But this time it was a little bit different. Like I just remember texting her, and she would either not text back, or she would take all day to text back, or she would text me back the next day, or I would call her, she wouldn't call me back. Or if I called, it was almost like she was trying to like get me off the phone, rush me off the phone. Like she was like too busy for me. So at the time, again, it wasn't until therapy where I realized like I had been abandoned 3 times. So I took it as like we were just outgrowing each other. Like we were just outgrowing each other. And so I decided to stop putting, I decided that because we were outgrowing each other, that I was going to stop making the effort. Like I was going to stop putting in the effort to reach out. And she didn't put in an effort to reach out at all. So it was like, I remember this was like a pivotal moment in my life, because I really started to focus on myself. Like I was in the gym, I was going to work, I was working Saturdays, like every Saturday, because like at my job, they would allow overtime. And so I would work like a lot of overtime and everything like that. This is when me and Lexi, my best friend that I'm still friends with to this day, we've been friends for 20 years. We started working at the same job. We hated our job. Like we would meet up in the break room, like crying, stressed. Like we hated our jobs, but like she had a dream to move to California to be a model, and I had a dream to do YouTube. And so we would always meet up on Saturdays to work overtime. And then sometimes they would remove the cap on overtime. So some days, like we would be at work literally all day, from early in the morning to late at night. We would work like 15-hour shifts, because we worked at a call center. It was customer service. And so, yeah, like it was, that was very stressful, because you get cussed out, people yelling at you. They want to know why they got an overdraft fee. They want to know what this fee is, or why is my account overdrawn. Like, girl, I don't miss that job. Okay. Me and Lexi would literally cry in the break room because we would be so stressed. And then we would eat. We would eat too. We had to eat. We had to have our snacks. We would go downstairs to the little company area, and the little company, like they had this like company thing where you could just buy snacks. Girl, I remember I would go in there and buy, like I would just get snacks and just take them to my desk and just put them on my desk and start taking calls and just be munching all day. That's what I used to do. And I would drink my water though. I had my 64-ounce thing of water, ice water, that I would have at my desk, and I would be drinking my water. But girl, I had nothing but snacks. And then I would also order Chinese food. I would order like takeout, have it at my desk, and then I'd just be eating all day. For real, like that's how it was. And then in 2014, that's when I got weight loss surgery. And that's when I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't eat like that no more and stuff like that. But before, girl, because the job had me stressed. That job had me stressed. That job had me stressed out. And then I had to stop snacking. Trying to break that habit of snacking when that's like your coping mechanism in a stressful work environment. That, you know how hard that is? That is hard. All right, that is so hard. So I just started like focusing on me. You know, I had weight loss surgery, and then after that, I started like showing my journey on YouTube with weight loss surgery, and I started showing my journey with weight loss. And I was just doing, at first I was just doing like hair content and beauty content. Then I started doing like weight loss stuff and gym stuff, and my platform was growing and things like that. And then this was when I had gotten away from my crazy ex-roommate, and I had moved into a gated community, because like the apartment I lived in before that, y'all, it was ghetto. Okay, they had a triple homicide right up the street. Then somebody got stabbed in our apartment complex. Girl, that part of my life was crazy too. And then I will never forget when I first moved in. I'm a girl from the suburbs. All right, I'm not trying to sound bougie, but I'm just not used to like seeing certain things. Like I was having like, there was just certain things that I saw and I was just like really shocked. Like, what the hell? So first of all, like a triple homicide happening right up the street. I'm freaking out. There was somebody that was stabbed in our apartment complex and I heard about it. And then the first week that I stayed in this place, there was a rat that came crawling out of our fireplace. Y'all, when I tell you we didn't have no furniture. The only thing I had thrifted these $5 chairs from Goodwill. And this, I'm sitting in the living room, you know, trying to watch TV, and like the TV, y'all, it was just, this is just my life. This is my story. And so I'm sitting there like, you know, trying to enjoy what little I have, right? And this rat come running out of the fireplace. Y'all, I jumped so fast on top of this chair screaming, because I'm like, I know damn well that was not a rat that just came running out of the fireplace. Girl, when I tell you I was freaking out, I was like, oh, hell no. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? I was freaking out. I remember calling maintenance. They're talking about, well, the best that we can do is come out and box up the fireplace. I was like, well, I guess that's what you need to do. How fast can you get here and do that then? They was like, oh, well, you know, our turnaround time frame is 24. And then when you staying in a shitty apartment complex, girl, when I say they don't give a damn, they do not. I was like, sir, I need some urgency. Okay. Then I call my brother, right? He in Florida. This is when he used to live in Florida, and he going through it. I'm going through it. We both trying to figure it out. And so I guess he had it worse than me. I don't know. Like, he talks a little bit about what he was going through. So I call my older brother on the phone. I'm like, I can't do this. And my brother was like, you better suck it up. And I was like, he was like, you think you the only one that didn't have furniture when they first moved in, and then da-da-da-da. I was like, but there was a rat that came through and da-da-da. My brother, y'all, I swear to God, he was like, you better suck it up. I was like, what the hell? He was not helpful. Okay, he was not helpful. I was like, I should have called somebody else, call you for it. Then my other brother, he's away at college, you know. So I was like, he's not gonna get it. So I was just like, you know what? That's when I was like, you know what? It hit me. I'm an adult. That's when it finally hit me. Like, damn, this is adulting. This shit sucks. Adulting? Oh my God, it sucks. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that was like my wake up call. Like, damn, this is what it means to be an adult. Okay, I got it. All right. So then, like, I got away from, like I said, I ended up getting away from my crazy roommate, moved to a gated community, because y'all, that was just something I was so concerned about, because the area I lived in, it just wasn't safe. There was always stuff going on. There was always some bullshit. There was always something going on. Like I would, and then I worked from home during the day, because by this time I had switched jobs, but I was working home during the day, and girl, it would just always be something going, somebody yelling, screaming, somebody getting kicked out of their house. And it was just always like some mess. It was just always some mess. So I was so happy to get away from that apartment complex. If you in Kansas City, I moved from like 82nd or 83rd Street, Kansas City, to Grand Summit. That's where I ended up moving to Grand Summit, girl. Grand Summit, it was a girl. And all my workout videos are from Grand Summit, that apartment complex gym. Okay. We was in there consistently. Okay. In there consistently, just trying to get our lives together. So I moved to Grand Summit. It was a gated community, and I felt safer there. And so I was just happy, and I was still working from home at that time. And yeah, like it was just better for me. So after I moved into Grand Summit, right, this girl randomly like hits me up, and I'm like, I hadn't heard from her in years, honestly. Like it was, she was like, hey, like, I just wanted to reach out to see if like you wanted to catch up. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, what do you want to do? She was like, oh, we can go get drinks. You know, we could go to Westport. If you live in Kansas City, Westport is like a bar hopping area in Kansas City. So I was like, okay. So y'all, I meet up with her down. No, did we ride together? No. Hell, I don't freaking know. I don't know how we got there. But listen, I just remember the situation, y'all, and I was pissed. I was pissed, y'all. So we get there, and I'm thinking like genuinely, like she wants to catch up, like she wants to know what I've been up to, and I'm interested in like getting an update on her life and things like that. This girl orders a beer, y'all. She orders a beer. She only had one beer. Tell me why we leaving the bar and she starts to act like she's drunk, like intoxicated, like she's like stumbling over and stuff. And I'm like, girl, you had a beer. And she was the type of friend where she liked attention, like she liked getting attention, and she liked fitting in and being cool, and like her way of doing that was to like act like she's drunk and like so that's what she was doing. And I was like, girl, you had a beer. We only had one drink. It wasn't like we was just like, we didn't even take a shot, y'all. We didn't even take a shot. She had a beer. She was like, like, dang her. And the reason why she was doing it was because she was trying to get attention from guys. I was like, girl, so I see what this was about. This girl wasn't trying to catch up with me. She just needed somebody to go out with so she could get attention. That's what that was about. And I was like, you know what? Here I am thinking we linking up and this is on some genuine shit. And she over here using me because she bored at her grandmother's house. And because her grandmother lived like around the corner from me. And she just needed somebody to go out with. And I was like her go-to person. I was just like, and y'all did not have fun. Some guy was trying to like talk to her, like trying to lure her to the car. And I'm like, girl, that's not safe. Like, we don't like, and it's, y'all. I was like, and then it was making me angry because I was like, this is why this is what used to piss me off about her. Like she would do stuff like this. And it was all because she wanted attention. And it's just, so after this experience, I was like, I do not want to reconnect with her. Like, I do not want to reconnect. I like the space that we have. Maybe it's just we not meant to be friends. Like I was just thinking like, because I don't want to deal with that no more. That's crazy. And I'm thinking, oh, like time has passed by, like she's matured, we're probably in a better place. No. So I'm like, oh my God. So then, okay, so she abandoned me. Okay, yeah, she abandoned me. Then she came back and she was like doing that. So she went back. She didn't even hit me up after that. That was another thing. Like I didn't text her and she didn't even text me after that night. I didn't text her. She didn't even text me, right? So my life continues to get better, right? It continues to get better. So around this time, I move in with my brothers. We find this 3-bedroom, 3-bath loft, affordable, y'all. We were paying a little over $1,000 a month. It was like $1,050. It was income restricted, and this lovely interracial couple was like, oh, we want to give this to like someone that's Black because everybody in the building for the most part were white. And it was like a word of mouth thing. Like nobody knew about this place. Nobody knew like this was like low income restricted and like you could live nice like this. Like what? So I remember like I went to check out the place with my younger brother because he was the one that heard about it. And that's how we ended up getting connected with them and stuff like that. And it was perfect. It was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Everyone had it was open space. Everyone had their room and things like that. When you split it 3 ways, rent was like $300. And this was the break that I needed so I could get my life together. So I was like, okay, when I moved in, I was like, I am not fucking around. Like that was like my motto. Like I was like, I'm not fucking around. I'm not messing this up. Like I'm not messing this opportunity up. I'm not messing this blessing up. Like I'm not. This is not happening. Like you ever get a blessing and you like, oh shit, bitch, we better not fuck this shit up because girl, we know this don't happen. This, and especially when you used to bad things, you're not used to good things coming into your life. You're used to something like happening that just throws everything off. So like, girl, I was like, girl, I ain't never got no good news like this for real. So I'm like, oh hell, girl, we can't just mess this up, because I knew it was a blessing, and I knew I was being blessed, and I knew that I did not need to like move in and just lose my mind, because that was another thing. I was moving from the suburbs to the city, and like, yeah, there's a lot to do, like when you go from the suburbs to the city, it's a little different. There's always something going on, and you could easily lose focus. But I was like, no, girl, this is a blessing. We're not messing this up. This is the break that I needed. So I made sure I took full advantage of this situation, because I knew it was unique and it was unheard of, and this was never going to happen again. So I made sure that I was on my Zoom. I was in that gym. I was making YouTube videos. I was saving my money. I was paying off my debt. I was doing everything that I needed to do to ensure that I was making this work for me. You know what I mean? So when I started making good money on YouTube, I wasn't going out buying stuff. Like, I was just like, no, like I need to pay off my debt. So like for 3 years, I was working on getting my financial situation together. I started working with this third-party company called Lexington Law. They helped me fix my credit. They fixed my credit in about 1 year. And then I started like paying off creditors and stuff like that, because girl, they was at my door. Okay, you ever had them pop up? They was popping up at the house. I said, oh shit, I gotta pay them. And I was dodging them. Like this one man, out there, this is funny, but like, okay, so there's an intercom. So when you like get to the loft or whatever, there was an intercom, and he knew it was me. And he was like, we're looking for such and such. And I'm like, who? We're looking for such and such. And I knew he was trying to serve me. So I'm dodging this man. I was like, oh, such and such, they don't live here. I think you may have the wrong address. And he was like, no, I got the right address. They're saying that they stay here at this particular unit. I was like, are you sure? I think you may have the wrong address. Maybe that was who used to live here before I live here. I think you have the wrong address. So I used to talk to him through the intercom. So I would never buzz him into the building. So he could never like serve me at my door. So I was like dodging this man. Like me and him would go tit for tat, like, and then like I would like, he would be at the front trying to get in, and then I would sneak out the back and like drive in my car. I was dodging that man. And then I was like, like you're not serving me. Right. So then no, I don't, is that being a felon? Is that what it means to be a felon? I don't know. But no, it was a creditor. Like it was a credit card company that was trying to serve me, because they were trying to take me to court because I had not paid. And so I was like, oh my God. So then I was like, okay, so I linked up with Lexington Law. I was dodging them a little bit longer, and then I ended up paying them, and then they tossed it. So I never had to show. I never had to go to court, basically. Girl, I didn't know they could do that either. They was trying to take me to court over a credit card. They was trying to take me to court over a credit card. Now it was 10,000. It was like 10. Y'all, it was up there. All right. It wasn't no like little credit card. So yeah, they was trying to take me to court for that. So I was dodging their ass. Like I was dodging them. I was dodging them. And then I linked up with Lexington Law. They were taking care of it, but he was still trying to serve me. You ever know those people that be trying to do I'm like, sir, take the day off, So no, I ended up paying them. And then once that went through and cleared, I never saw him again after that, because they tossed it, and I got this letter in the mail, and it was like, you no longer have to show up in court, and because I ended up paying it. So it all worked out. Thank God. Okay, thank God, it all worked out. So again, like I'm getting my life together. By that time, I had already paid off my cars. I didn't have to worry about a car note or anything. That was probably like the first thing that I did when I started making good money on YouTube, was paying off that damn car, girl. Because when you don't have a car note, life is good. Okay, when you don't have a car note, life is good. I don't care what nobody say. Life is good when you don't have a car note. So I had paid off the car note. I had paid off the stupid credit card debt that I had accumulated in my early 20s. Listen, when you in your early 20s, think twice before you get that credit card, and think twice, because one thing that the credit card company did was increase my limit, knowing damn well I could not afford that limit. Now, why would you give me a $10,000 limit and you know I'm broke? Make it make sense. So they gave me like a $10,000 limit, something crazy like that. And so I was just making stupid financial decisions and choices when I was in my 20s. But I mean, some of it was stupid, but some of it was like necessary because I was on my own. Like I wasn't really being supported like that financially. I wasn't being supported financially at all. So some of it was dumb, but then some of it was like out of necessity too. So it wasn't all bad, but yeah, I tried to start my own bundle hair company, and it was bad business, y'all. Like I was giving people hair, and then like they'd be like, "Oh, like can I be on a payment plan with you?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they wouldn't pay me back. So I was left with the credit card bill that I had bought the hair on, thinking that they was gonna pay me, and then they never paid me back, y'all. This is when AliExpress, you could sell hair off AliExpress. That's all I was doing, girl. It was just a little hustle. It was just a little hustle to get some money in the pocket. But then like people wasn't paying me, y'all. People wasn't paying me. So that business quickly went under, and I was selling bundles out the back of my trunk at where was I? What area? At McDonald's. Yeah, I was selling bundles out the back of my car at McDonald's, but it was really from AliExpress, girl. It was from AliExpress. But then YouTube ended up taking off for me. And so after that failed, YouTube started taking off, and then I started getting sponsorships from different hair brands and hair companies and stuff like that. So yeah, that was that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't want to say what company gave me the credit card, girl. I don't want to say, girl. I don't want to say, but yeah. So yeah, that was my hustle. And then I was braiding hair because I used to braid hair. I used to make wigs. I really came up though when I started making wigs for women, Black women in corporate America. Girl, that is a good hustle. First of all, they want to get the same thing every time. They want a natural color, it's black, brown. And some of them get a little spicy. They like, ooh, I want to spice it up a little bit, do some curly, maybe a few blonde streaks, a highlight. But like that's when I really came up, was when my mother, because I started making wigs for her, and then she would go into work and like people be like, "Oh my God, your hair is so cute." And then the next thing you know, like I was starting to get clientele like that. So that was how I was able to pay off debt too, was like hustling on YouTube, making wigs and stuff like that during that time. And then the whole person gig, I had to let that go because it was the scheduling. The scheduling just didn't work out with me. But I would have kept that job too. One thing about me, I'm gonna keep a job. I'm gonna keep a job because I know what it's like to be broke. I'm gonna keep a job. I don't care where I'm working, what I'm doing. Listen, I like to work. I don't know. I know there are people nowadays, they be like, "Oh, I feel like too good to work." Too good. I just want to make sure I'm getting paid. Okay. So too good. I'll take my ass to work. I don't mind working. That's something I actually enjoy doing. So that was one thing about me. If you think about Yoni with a job, because I always had a job. There was not a time where I did not have a job. Okay. Well, there was a time. Well, which brings me to my next point. So after that situation with her doing that weird thing that she did when we reconnected, I ended shortly after that, I ended up getting fired. Again. This time I got fired because somebody was watching my YouTube videos at my job, and they were telling the management at my job, because I work from home, and they were like, "Oh, you can't record and work from home. You can't record in your house and work from home. Like that's against HIPAA violations." I said, and at this time I had switched from working with US Bank to now I worked with CVS Pharmacy, and I was working from home, and I was on the phone talking to people and helping them with their medication subscription, their insurance and all of that, and billing and all of that. So girl, somebody ratted me out at the job, and next thing I know, I'm getting fired again. And I lost my job, and I'm freaking out because I let the whole person's gig go. Yeah, I'm still doing YouTube, doing hair, but it really wasn't making enough and stuff like that. And that's when my life took another pivotal turn. I was like, shit, like I decided to go full-time self-employed. And I was like, I thought to myself, like, if I'm putting in full-time effort, I'm going to get full-time pay, because it wasn't making sense. It was not making sense. I'm like, oh, if I give full-time effort, I'm going to get full-time pay. And that's basically what happened. And then I got my break when I was trying to transition from go full-time self-employed. I ended up moving to this loft with my brothers, and like I said, rent was cheap, everything was kind of cheap and everything. And so, and yeah, like that's how it all ended up working out for me, thank God. That's why I was like, I'm not messing this up, because I'm really trying to become full-time self-employed. And so when God gave me that break, I was like, man, like I'm not messing this up. So I was in the gym, I was making wigs, I was making sure I was paying off my debt, paying off my car, and like really trying to put myself in a better position. And I'm so glad that I did that. But then I did lose focus, because I ended up dating this guy. It's always a man that want to come in and mess everything that you got going on up. So I ended up dating this guy, worst mistake ever. Kind of lost focus there for a little bit. And then he was grimy and did something really grimy to me. I'm not going to get into that story time, because we'll be here all freaking day. But yeah, so he did what he did. I ended up just cutting my losses. And then I got back refocused, got back in the gym, lost 20 pounds, got back I started mentoring. I started a new business venture. And then I was saving up to move to Houston. Then I moved to Houston, and then that's shit. Then some more stuff. So let's fast forward. So this friend that did all of this weird shit, right? She was reaching out, and she kept asking my best friend Lexi, because technically how we became friends, I met Lexi through her, because they were friends, and then we all went to high school and stuff together. But I knew about Lexi in middle school, and Lexi didn't go to the same middle school as me, but Lexi would always hang around and be around because of this friend. And then Lexi ended up going to the same high school as us, and like me and Lexi became close in high school, and then after high school and things like that. So during this time, I would say like during this time when she kept like going around like asking, well, she would always go to Lexi and ask, well, and I only know about it twice, because I think like Lexi is the type of person where she don't like being put in the middle. She already has anxiety. She's a Virgo, and Virgos, I feel like y'all have intense anxiety, because y'all tend to be hyper fixated on the smallest things, the smallest details. And it could be like an attribute, but it could also be like, it could feed into like your shadow side as well, because you like perfection. And so she has anxiety really bad. So I hated how she would go to her and like put her in the middle and ask her like, do you know why me and such stopped being friends? Like she would ask Lexi that. And I only knew about twice, but I'm pretty sure she would come to her probably often. But Lexi was the type where she would never tell me certain things, because she never wanted to be put in the middle of certain things. And so she would always tell this girl, she would be like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, I think you should talk to her. Like, she would encourage her to like talk to me, but she never felt comfortable talking to me. And I think the issue with that was because there was some slight jealousy there. And I think part of the jealousy was I did YouTube and she did not. Like, I followed through with YouTube. She wanted to do it. I encouraged her to do it, but she hated being judged and perceived. And so me, like, I didn't care. Like, I was just doing it because it was making me happy at the time. So she was seeing how well I was doing with YouTube. And I knew that was something that she also talked about doing, but she just never really pursued it full head on. So, so she started seeing like my life get better. And I had a trio friendship with Lexi and my other friend at the time, my other best friend at the time. And she just started seeing me like hang out and like do fun things, which was something that when we were really friends, we didn't really go out and like do things like that. Working a lot. Editing videos takes hours. So if I wasn't editing for hours, then I was trying to take a nap because I would have to go to work, or I would have to go to the gym, or I would have to go make a wig or something. Or I have to go do somebody's hair. So like I wasn't hanging out like that. I would try every now and then, but a lot of times like I was always working because editing takes so much time, and like it just took so much time. Like honestly, that's why I like doing lives. So a part of me feels like the reason why she never wanted to like come talk to me, which was weird because she had no problem reaching out to me when we went out to that bar that one time, but it was clear that she clearly used me that night. But I don't know. I think my success had gotten to a level where she felt intimidated by me now. And so I had also lost more weight. Like I had lost probably another 60 pounds, something crazy like that. Because by that time I started doing keto. And so she was afraid to like talk to me all of a sudden. And I thought it was the weirdest thing. Because I was like, when have I ever been hard to talk to? I'm very down to earth, very open. You know, I'm not weird. I know how to conversate with people. I'm not gonna have an attitude. I do have some questions that I'm the type where I'm all about sitting down and talking it out. I'm not the type where I don't want to talk. Like I don't like her. I don't like you having. And then she didn't really do anything to me. Like that's how I saw it. Like we didn't have a falling out or anything. But after that bar situation, it really did rub me the wrong way, which was why I kind of kept my distance. But there was nothing that I felt at that time, and this was before therapy, that I thought that she did to me that we couldn't talk it out about. That's what it was for me during this time in my life. So she would go around asking, Lexi that question all the time. And to be honest, she had I didn't realize it, but she had abandoned me not once, not twice, but 3 times. So, and then she would come in my life and then go out of my life and like stop talking to me. It was just weird, y'all. Like it was just so weird. And after a while, I just assumed I wasn't cool enough or I wasn't fun enough. I don't know what she was looking for, like a thrill. I really don't freaking know what she was looking for. So now she's intimidated to talk to me, and I don't know why. Like, I really don't. Another reason I feel like maybe she was afraid to talk to me was because she be talking about me. You know how people who be afraid to talk to you because they be talking about you behind your back? And technically she was doing that, but I didn't see anything wrong with her asking Lexi why we weren't friends. But I just didn't understand why she just didn't come to me and ask me face to face or reach out to me and ask me face to face. But it really was because of social media. Like she was seeing how much love I was getting online. She was seeing how much support I was getting online. And I really think like that intimidated her to where she didn't just want to reach out and just ask. She didn't want to just reach out and just ask. I don't know what video got me my first check. Around this time, we're probably like in our mid 20s. I would say like 25, 26, somewhere in there. I would say 26, 27, like somewhere in there. And so I for the life of me, I'm like, why is she afraid to talk to me? And we're talking about somebody that we used to be so close. I used to be so close with her. And I just was like, why all of a sudden is she just acting so weird towards me? I did not understand it. I have an online following, but like, I'm still the same person as far as personality, So, and by this time I was still a people pleaser. So I did not understand why she was like low-key afraid to talk to me. And she was just going through other people to try to talk to me. And it was just really weird. So then we fast forward, right, to me moving to Houston, and we ended up in the same city. And I think that's so interesting because I told you everything that happened before and how, distance, she moved to Dallas and everything. So somehow we ended up in the same city. And I'm thinking, dang, like I'm in a new city. I'm feeling good. Life is good, finally. I have been through a lot of shit. And I'm like, life is finally good. Like life is looking up shit. 6 months, y'all. Like I was just y'all, this is all hell breaks loose. I will never forget. So I moved in the middle of the pandemic. My parents did not agree, but they decided to support me last minute. So I think my parents didn't want to make the same mistake twice. So they decided to support me when I moved to Houston. At first, they were so against it. And then my dad just randomly calls me and he's like, we support you on your move to Houston. I was like, okay. And so the next thing I know, my dad is buying a hotel. He's getting a rental. He's buying a plane ticket, and he's like supporting me on this move to Houston. My mom didn't come. It was just him and my younger brother, and they helped me move. But really, I had taken care of everything. Like I had my car shipped. I had what else did I have? I had my car shipped. I had my stuff that I had from my other, like my bed and everything from the loft. And then I bought a couch, a new couch that I had already ordered. I just had everything like shipped, so they really didn't have to do much. I just needed somebody to like hang stuff up on the wall and stuff. My dad hung my TV, and he was out. Y'all, this man was so supportive. Like y'all, I was shocked. Okay. Because this man was on his hands and knees, and he was laying my greenery, my grass that I wanted on my balcony. He was like laying that on my patio so it could look nice for me when I walked out on my patio. And then he also bought me this chair as like a housewarming gift and everything. So he was like really trying to be supportive. Like he was trying to right his wrongs from what happened with the whole school thing. So that's another thing. It's like, holding things against your parents. When they're trying to, they clearly see they made a mistake, right? And they have regret. When they're trying to make it right, let them. And that's kind of what I did. I just let him. I was like, okay. And he was just doing all of these things. And I was just like, oh, okay. Even though I had literally taken care of everything, but he was just wanting to do something. And I was like, okay. Okay. So I will never forget though, when he left, him and my brother left. And when he left, he said, all eyes are on you now. And then he gave me a hug. He kissed me. And then he left. And I could tell he was getting emotional, but he didn't want to cry in front of me. And so I remember that day, and I'm like, what? I was like, why? When he said all eyes on me, why people looking at, like, I was just like, why are eyes on me? What you talking about? And that's all he said. And those Aquariuses, they see, I feel like Aquarius people, y'all see shit before it happens. I really do. I feel like y'all have the gift of being able to see things ahead of everybody else. And so my dad, that was like the last thing that he said. And that's when all hell breaks loose. Okay. So this is when I learned about evil eye. This is when I learned about jealousy. This is when I learned about like the people closest to you could really like get jealous of you. And it was crazy because I just did not see it coming. I did not see it coming. Like my friend of 10 years, I met her in middle school too. And we became friends outside of high school and things like that. But our friendship was kind of more long distance. Majority of it, like 5 years, she kind of lived out of the city and stuff. But we kept in touch. We texted and things like that. And she ended up turning on me, and it was simply because she didn't know how to be happy for me. I had lost weight, and this girl, like I said, she was used to me in the same yoga pants that I would wear every week because I was insecure, and the only thing that felt comfortable was black yoga pants. So like stretchy yoga pants that were like 2-3x in size. And here I am now in the same city as her, and I'm wearing like a large, and that I didn't think about how much had changed with my life and with my appearance. At that point in my life, I had not looked back on how much I had improved my life and like just my overall appearance and things like that. And to be honest, when we were connected, I didn't care about my appearance. Yeah, I didn't really put that much effort into my appearance because I was depressed. So this is like a total switch up. I'm wearing heels, I'm wearing dresses, and it's like it's a drastic difference when you go from yoga pants and like slide-in shoes every day, and that person is consistently seeing you in that state, to now you're stepping out and you're wearing you're dressing more feminine, you're doing your hair, your makeup, and you're wearing heels, and you're dressing nice, right? Your body looks good, and like you're getting more attention too. I didn't think twice. I didn't really think anything of it, y'all. So this friend started treating me differently. Like it was just some of the stuff that she would say. And I'm like, is she being passive aggressive? You ever had somebody be passive aggressive towards you and they just say like slick things and then they try to like cover it up like it's a joke, but it was very demeaning and like disrespectful? It was so disrespectful. And so this is when hell breaks loose, and my dad warned me. It's crazy. He warned me, and he didn't even go into detail about nothing. He warned me. And so I remember when I bought my luxury car, and I had to buy a new car because my engine light had turned on. But first of all, God had been telling me, you need to get out of this scarcity mindset, because I was like, hell no, I'm like keeping my car. Like I'm riding that car until the wheels fall off. Okay. Marley, she been with me through thick and thin. She was there for me when nobody was there for me. Marley is the car, my Ford Fusion that I had, 2011. Like that was my girl. Like me and her been through a lot together. So I didn't want to give her up. And I'm in a new city, and my best friend of 10 years, right? Like I'm thinking she gonna be dependable. She's not. I moved to Houston and found out that she was not. It had been like 6 months I had been in Houston. She had never like visited me. She never came to see if I need anything, if I want anything, or really anything like that. Like she didn't even know what my apartment she didn't even know my apartment number. It was just crazy. So I was just getting weird vibes. You ever get weird vibes from somebody and you don't have any concrete proof or evidence, but it's like the energy off? Like I would get around her and I would feel like she would be talking about me behind my back. It was just the energy with her, like, because she started acting funny towards me. She started acting like guilty. That like when it was like the best way I could explain it was she would act guilty towards me and just weird. And I'm like, what is really the problem? Like, is there like some inside joke that I don't know about? Like, what is going on? And so this is when it got really bad though, was I had bought my car and then I went on a girls trip with her, Lexi, and two other girls that I'm still friends with. And like I don't know, she was just picking on me the whole trip. Like, you ever been hanging around somebody and they nitpick at every little thing that you do, every little thing that you say, like from what you got on? Hell, she was nitpicking my diet. She was nitpicking my makeup. She was nitpicking what I was wearing, how I talk, what I was saying, if I'm joking. When I say this girl was like nitpicking every little thing, she was nitpicking my spending habits. And I was like, girl, I have never told you anything about my financial situation. At this time, I hadn't even told anyone like how I tried to set myself up to be in a better financial situation. So she didn't even know about me paying off debt, because I'm not the type where I go around boasting about what I'm doing. So she didn't know about any of that. Like it was so off, and the energy with her was just, it was like so weird. And it was starting to make me uncomfortable. It was getting to a point where I didn't want to hang out with her. And like she would also do these things where the undertone was like competitive, or the undertone was like, oh, I'm trying to one up you. And it would like be petty stuff. Like it would be like stuff that is stuff I don't care about. Like honestly, it would always be stuff like, I'm like, girl, I do not care about that. Like I'm not care. Like I don't care. For me, I need the girls to understand, if you see me as inspirational, you got to understand that with me getting to this point in my life, right? I stayed away from drama. Drama keeps you stuck. Drama keeps you stagnant. I stayed focused on myself. I got distracted by a man, ended up dropping his ass so I could get back focused on myself. You get what I'm saying? Like you can't be worried about what everybody else is doing. You can't be sucked into drama, because I'm telling you that drama, it comes with a stagnancy of energy that's attached to it. And it's like you will lose your focus. You will lose your focus. You will lose your focus. So like along this path, along this journey, part of my spiritual journey was people throwing things at me to like distract me from moving on, distract me from leveling up, distract me from like doing what's best for me and things like that. There was always some distraction that would be thrown in my path. And then I would have to like try to stay focused. You know, even when I started making more money, that could have easily been a distraction because I could have went out here and just started blowing it, you know. But it's like you have to stay grounded. You have to stay focused, because if you don't, you'll be taken off path, and like then it's like you're gonna lose yourself. You're gonna lose yourself on why you started what you started and where you come from, and like you're just gonna lose yourself. So one thing about my journey is staying focused on the goal at hand. I can't look off over here and I can't look off over here. Like I really got to stay focused and dedicated. And I can't allow agent of chaos to come into my life and just throw everything off. And that's what she became. She became like a Judah to me, where she had this spirit on her and I could feel it: jealousy, envy, negative, competitive. And she came in, and the way I see it was she was being tested. I was being tested. She was being tested on if she knew how to be happy for me. And I was being tested on, do I know how to let people go when they no longer serve me? Do I know how to stand up for myself? Because remember, I talk about how I never stood up for myself. I was Joan. I let people walk all over me. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't know how to assert myself in a way to where if I need to be confrontational, I know how to be confrontational. I would allow things to slide. I would always try to be the peacemaker and make things right. And I would always be the one that would apologize. But when it came to this situation right here, I wasn't apologizing because I didn't do nothing wrong. You can't shame me, put me down, bully me, be passive aggressive, say all of these nasty things, pick me apart from my spending habits to my diet to my lifestyle, and then turn around and try to play the victim like, oh, she did this to me. She did this to me. And no, she's really like this. Are you for real? So like when we had our falling out, it was for life. Because one thing about it, if I have to have a falling out with you, we're not friends. Because you gotta I went my whole life, y'all. I never had falling outs with people at all. I had college roommates my freshman year. It was 3 women that I lived with. I had to share a bathroom with one of the girls, and we never got into it. We never got into an argument. We never got into a disagreement. So I'm one of those people. It's like a fallout. I don't do fallouts. I never had one before. So I'm thinking the friendship is over, done, in the trash. It's a wrap. I'm not thinking like, yeah, we just gonna have a fallout. It's gonna be a little tit for tat, and then we gonna be back cool again. That's not how I move. If I have to have a falling out with you, like we're not friends. And what she's used to, and she was one of those girls where she fall out with people all the time, and then she'll get back cool with them. I'm not like that. I'm not your other little friends. I'm Kiana. Like that's your other little friends. Y'all have y'all little fallouts. Y'all compete with each other. Y'all get into it. Y'all get into arguments. Y'all be getting drunk and getting in fights and wanting to physically fight each other. Me, you pull that shit. We done. We have nothing to talk about. So when she was doing everything and when we were having our falling out, she had so much to get off of her chest. But the crazy thing was, when she was getting all of these things off her chest, right? And I was letting her freely speak, right? I was like, girl, you hate me. You do not like me. Like, because it was like the stuff that she was saying about me. I was like, you don't like my personality. You don't like my character. You don't like me as a person. Like she hated how people would view me, and she hated how people would gravitate towards me. When I say she felt like I was like dumb, weird, I was like, she did not like me at all. And the whole time she was getting all the things off her chest, I was like, well, shit, why are we even friends? Why were we ever friends if this is how you really feel about me? Y'all, it was crazy. So she exposed herself. She exposed herself. She did not like me at all. And none of the stuff that she was saying, like, how somebody actually does something to you and you can like list off what they did. She was just calling me out my name, and she was just saying I'm weird, and you're just so weird and so strange, and like you're just so dumb and so stupid. That was all she could say. And I'm just like, girl, so you don't like me then? Like you don't like me. Why are you around me? That's some weird shit. Like I was just like, girl. So when we had our falling out, I was done. Like I had no intentions of ever being friends with her again. Until this day, I have no intentions of ever being friends with her again, because she exposed that she did not like me, like hated me. It wasn't even just a dislike. She did not like me. And I'm like, why are you hanging around people that you don't like? But then again, I think she does that a lot, actually. I think she hangs around people that she doesn't like. So the reason why I'm talking about the 10-year best friend, okay, is because guess what happens? The 8-year best friend and the 10-year best friend link up to go against me. And you know what's so crazy about this is we all in the same city. We all grew up together for the most part. And it was crazy. So remember when I told you the 8-year friend who abandoned me 3 times? I never told her story, but I'm telling it now. Is the crazy thing about her is she's always been easily influenced. V influenced her, T influenced her, and now she's being influenced again by the 10-year best friend. So the 10-year best friend is in her ear, manipulating her, telling her that, you know, Kiana is really like this, and she's really like that, and she's this, and she's that, and she's this. And guess who was eager to believe that shit? Guess who was eager, eating it up? Like, oh, really? And it's, you know, it's crazy. When me and the 8-year best friend, when we were friends, I felt like she knew me. Like, I felt like she really understood me. I felt like she knew me. She understood me. Me and her never really even got into a fight, because even when I could have gotten into it with her, when she abandoned me the first time with the whole escorting thing, I never came at her sideways. I ended up apologizing and trying to make it right with her. So how you go from that and knowing me for all of these years, and I felt like I was closer to her than I was to the 10-year best friend, because we actually hung out together, we bonded together, we would actually have like conversations that we didn't even share with other people. So it was just crazy how she was so eager to believe the 10-year best friend that hated me, literally hated me. So I was like, damn. So I was like, okay, like this is crazy. So then they start doing weird shit, y'all. You know, girls be weird. They stalk you online. They be hanging out with each other. They pull up your social media and talk about you. They are teaming up together to like try to make you jealous. Like they wanted me to be jealous of them for hanging out. And I was just like, no, I actually feel like y'all deserve each other because you're horrible people. Like, and that's just me being real. Like, I was like, you're both of them selfish, self-centered, don't have any self-awareness, immature, don't know how to communicate, project, just competitive, desperate when it comes to fitting in. Don't know what it means. Like, y'all actually deserve to be friends. Like, I was not, y'all, when I tell you, when I saw that they were hanging out, I didn't feel any type of way. Like, I was actually happy for them because I didn't want to be around them. I don't want to be around like being a friend group where they're competing with each other, trying to one up each other. Then they be talking about each other behind each other's back. Why would I want to be around that? God had removed me. And then God, she, whoever you believe in, right? God's spirit had removed me and then blocked me. This is how protected I was. Then blocked me from being able to reconnect with this 8-year best friend because he knew, God knew, she knew, whoever, God, spirit, whatever, right, knew that she hadn't changed and it was just going to be the same shit. And so I just needed to like let the people in the past be in the past. Like I needed to really just like let all of that go. Cause it was toxic, y'all. I normally do not have drama in my life. I just keep to myself. Like I'm focused on my goals and my dreams. And that's what I like about the women that I currently have in my life. My best friend has always been this outlet for me. Like she's always been encouraging. Like even when we worked at US Bank, we would go to the break room, cry together, pray together, then like speak life into each other. And then we would go back out there and like deal with crazy people. Like that's what we used to do. And so me and my best friend, Lexi, like we always had that soulful connection where we just understood each other. And so even the 10-year best friend, she was going around and trying to recruit people to go against me. And she tried to recruit Lexi. She sent Lexi this long ass paragraph. I don't know what was said, but she was like, Kiana is like this, and Kiana is like that, and Kiana is this, and Kiana is that. And my best friend was like, Kiana don't act like that. Like, she was cracking up. Like, so I was like, Kiana don't act like that. And y'all seen me and Lexi, like, if you've been following me for a while, like, y'all seen us vlog, y'all seen us do vlogmas, and I went to go spend time with her in December, and I stayed with her for a month. And so she knows me like the back of my hand the back of her hand, because we like live together. She was like the only person I could really live with. She don't drain my energy. And so she knows my daily routine. She's seen my daily routine. And so she knows, like, I'm not in drama like that. She knows I'm not meddling and like being in the mix of things, because she actually like sees what I'm doing and like what I'm actively trying to pursue. And it's like, it's never any of this. And then she also understands that I keep to myself a lot. Like, I'm one of those people where I tend to isolate myself a lot. I'm trying to get out of that, but I do. I'm one of those people that self-isolate a lot, and I kind of go in like this hermit mode thing where I just want to be by myself. And it's not even that it's not always that someone has done something to me, or like someone has did me some type of way. Like, I'm one of those people that self-isolate because that's how I recharge my energy. Like, I've even been in relationships with men where they have been insecure, and so like I'll go self-isolate, and they think like I'm out here like cheating or dealing with some other guy, and it's like, nah, it's a full moon, I'm taking a spiritual bath. Like, I'm one of those type of girlies, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't be in everybody's business and in everybody's face. And if it wasn't for social media, like, I wouldn't even keep up with celebrity stuff, because I really don't care. I'm one of those, I live in my own world, and I've always been labeled weird because I'm one of those girls where I daydream a lot, and like I come across aloof, and like I'm not paying attention, and it's because I think I astral project a lot, and I think I'm looking more into this, but I think I astral project a lot where I'm here on Earth, and then like I be visiting with y'all, and then I'll be like going back because it be ghetto, you know what I mean? Like I be going back to the other world, because the other world is just better. Like, this one sucks. This one freaking sucks. And then I also think it's because I get bored, you know, like the day-to-day mundane stuff. I get bored. So like when I self-isolate, like I kind of just disappear. But girl, am I worried about you? Hell no. I'm sorry. Like, y'all, people really be thinking you supposed to be up in the house worried about them. Girl, I'm not even on planet Earth. I have astral projected somewhere else, and you think I'm worried about you. And this is the weirdness, right? Like, this is the weird side, or the crazy side. But girl, like, what? I'm not even here. And that's the thing. It's like they project, and that's what had the 10-year best friend, she had got caught up in her lies because she was projecting how she is on other people, and then she was trying to manipulate. And it just wasn't working, because I'm like, well, I'm me, you're you, Lexi is Lexi. And it's like, we don't even carry ourselves like that. Like, this is how she got caught up. She made the assumption that I told Lexi about our falling out. I didn't tell her. Lexi was going through a lot. Her dad was sick, and I wasn't going to bring some petty drama. Your dad is in the ICU. What I look like coming to you over some bullshit? What I look coming to you over some bullshit? I'm not about to involve you in no bullshit. And then she in a totally different state. Like, I don't know. I'm one of those people where when it comes to situations like this, I just figure it out on my own, and I really do keep to myself. So I'm not about to involve her in this. And then I didn't want to put her in the middle. She did witness her attacking me at brunch when we were on our girls' trip about my diet. Like, she was coming at me sideways about the keto diet. She's like, it's so unhealthy, and it's this, and it's that, and it's this, and it's that. And I'm like, okay, but I'm not even on keto anymore. Like, I'm just doing low carb. But Lexi ended up defending me at the table, because she was like, it was, y'all, when I say random, and I guess it was because I wasn't eating enough at brunch. I don't know. But she just randomly brought up the keto diet and just like started going in on me. And Lexi had to chime in, like, because Lexi lived with me for a month and she sees I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables. And so she was defending me at the table. And it was just like, when I tell you, jealousy is a real thing. And this time, like, God was like, like, you can't be in denial this time. You cannot be in denial for this time. But yeah, like, there are people out here that will link up and try to go against you, and the only thing you trying to do is improve your life. And the worst thing about this entire story for me, and every day I have to fight to not hate them. Like, honestly, like, I'm just being complete. This is me being 1,000 with you. It takes everything in my soul not to hate them. And the reason is because they watched me suffer. My 8-year best friend, she knew about my essay. I told her. I didn't tell anybody. She was the only person that I told. And I asked her not to tell anybody else. And I remember when we had the conversation, I was breaking down and I had not told anyone what had happened to me. And I told her, and I remember telling her, and we were in the car and I was like really breaking down. And at this point in my life, I didn't cry in front of people. You couldn't hug me. You couldn't touch me. I didn't even cry in front of people. And when I opened up to her and I told her that, like, I really trusted her. I trusted her and I thought she was being a genuine friend to me. But now I look back on that and she didn't give a fuck. She didn't care. And it's crazy, like, because I don't open up to people, like I back then, I still don't really open up to people. But really back then, like, I really didn't open up to people. So it takes everything in me not to hate them, because like they saw me like struggle. They saw me suffer. They knew about my dad and our relationship. They knew how toxic my childhood was. They knew enough to just be happy for me that my life had finally got to a better place. And they just could not do it. They cannot do it. Like, they watched me struggle financially. They watched me struggle with my health. They watched me struggle with trying to find myself. Like, that's why, like, it really takes everything in me not to hate them. Like, seriously, every day I have to pray over myself. Like, don't hate them. Like, love them, wish them well, and be happy that they have each other, and forgive them. And the reason why you need to forgive them is because you need to, like, let it go. And when you can't forgive, like, it's hard for you to let the situation go, right? But it's like I had to alter my feelings towards the situation and, like, really, really, really let it go. But I think that's the part that, like, really bothers me. Is like, they watched me suffer, y'all. They watched me struggle. Like, they watched me go through a lot, and they just could not be happy for me. And then the worst thing too was, it wasn't enough that the 10-year best friend bullied me. Like, that wasn't enough for her. It was like she bullied me, and then she because we had the falling out and she was saying all of these things, and I told her I didn't want to be friends with her. Then she tries to further bully me and go around and play the victim to everybody else, and, like, turn people against me to take her side when she knew she was the problem. Like, she knew what she did. And I think that's another thing. Like, it wasn't enough that she had called me these things. It wasn't enough that she was being a bully to me and just being mean to me. Like, it wasn't enough. And I was like, you're an evil bitch. Like, you're evil. Like, and that's, like, how real it was. Cause I was like, how, like, if you called yourself my friend, and it's like, it just wasn't enough. Like, she just kept going, y'all. She did not stop. She didn't stop until she felt like I didn't have anyone. She didn't, that's why I stopped posting on social media. She didn't stop until she felt like I didn't have anybody. She would not stop. Like, she kept. Lexi had to block her. Like, and it was just crazy. And then Lexi had to block her and the 8-year best friend, because Lexi and the 8-year best friend, they were mutual still. And I never got in the middle. I never got in Lexi's ear about them. I was just like, Lexi gonna have to figure this out on her own, but I want nothing to do with either of them. And then Lexi ended up blocking the both of them because it was like they would not stop. And it was like, it just wasn't enough. It was like they wanted to see me like suffer or just be down bad and on my, like down bad on my luck. I was like, this is the most evilest thing I think I've ever experienced in my life. It was just, y'all, it was not enough. It was just not enough. It was like they wanted me to suffer. Like they wanted to see me suffer again or something. It was, and the 8-year best friend, I don't know. Like, I think her thing was she was being easily influenced. And that's just her shadow side. She's easily influenced by people. But the 10-year best friend, like, she's just an evil bitch. Like, that's the only way to really describe her is evil. Like, she showed me how evil she really was. And I was like, girl, and you out here nursing who? You being a nurse in a hospital? I wouldn't want your ass touching me. Like, I could not, but like, I was like, damn. She turned her family against me. She turned her circle of friends against me. And her circle of friends don't even know me. It was just the craziest thing. I had like, y'all. Yeah, so I be protecting myself. I'm not gonna go into how I protect myself, but I be protecting myself because I ain't never experienced nothing like this ever before in my life. And yeah, so listen, I completely understand how some of you feel when it comes to those friends that did you so dirty. And it's not even to say that you was innocent 100% in the situation, but yeah, it's like some of the stuff that they did though was evil, cruel. It really showed you who they really are, and it blows your mind. And then the best part about my story though is because of all of this that was happening, my real friends were revealed to me. That was the best part of all of this was Lexi showed me that she is really my friend. Like, we've been friends for 20 years. She knows my heart. And because she could have easily flipped, you know what I mean? Like, she could have easily flipped. And the girl was very good at being a manipulator and stuff like that. But she was just like, no, like, I know her. Like, she doesn't even act like that. And it was just like, Lexi really showed me she is my friend. She sees me. And I think that is so important in friendship, is to have people who see your value, see your worth. They know what your shadow side is as well. So they can hold you accountable for those things. But you need somebody that sees you, that cares about you, that values you, because that's what Lexi showed me. Was like, damn, she really see me. Like, she's not just, oh, she's just calling herself a friend to be my friend. Like, no, like, she sees me. She sees me. So that was the best part about this entire experience. And I know that sounds crazy as hell, but that was probably the best part about this experience was I trust Lexi like 1,000%. And that's my girl. That's always been my girl. She's always been there for me. She's always been supportive. And like that whole thing, that whole experience, it revealed like, damn, she is really my friend. Like, she is really my friend. If I had any doubt, which I really didn't have any doubt, but it's like, I really don't have any doubt at all after that. Cause y'all, that was some spiritual warfare shit that I just was not expecting. And my dad, he warned me. He said, all eyes are on you. And I did not understand what he meant by that. But now it's like those words, like they just ring in your ear like, damn, he was right. Damn, he was right. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm actually very grateful. I'm very grateful. After these people got removed from my life and I let them go, I didn't bring them back into my life and try to work it out. My life has gotten so much better. I've been able to meet new people and like make new friends and like be around people that are genuinely supportive and happy. And my 32nd birthday was such an amazing birthday, and I felt loved and I felt celebrated and recognized. And I never had that really in friendship outside of Lexi, because the year before that I flew to LA and it was just me and Lexi. And Lexi, I'll have to post a video, but her and her girlfriend were singing me happy birthday, and they was trying to cheer me up because they knew that I was depressed because of everything that had happened. And it was like, man, y'all are real as fuck for this, because I don't know, I just wasn't expecting much, but they did the best that they could to make me feel special on that day. And that was when we went to the winery. They took me to this wine tasting place, and like, y'all know I like the bougie stuff. And so they was like, yeah, we will do that with you. And they celebrate me and stuff like that. When I tell you, it's nothing like having genuine friends, like genuine people around you, people who really love and care about you. It's like the best feeling in the world. It's not about quantity. It's really about quality. It really is. And even though I only had 2 people there to celebrate me on my 30th birthday, I was just so grateful. And just it was because before, when I went on the girls trip, it was such nasty energy. And yeah, there were more people there, right? But the energy was just so negative. And I had 2 people there celebrating with me, and that was enough for me. Like, the energy was pure, it was genuine. I felt real love, and that was the exchange. And I'm like, man, that's what I want. So I decided to choose myself. I came back to Houston, and I was okay with just not having friends. And I started putting myself out there. I was going out alone and stuff like that. And I ended up meeting new friends that way, because I was dating myself and I was putting myself out there. I was going to events by myself. I was going to little events here and there by myself, and I ended up meeting new friends that way. And I was connecting with people that had a similar mindset to me. I always say the best way to explain it was, when I was putting myself out there organically, authentically, and I was doing it outside of my comfort zone, there were women that were thinking like me, and I was able to connect to like-minded women like that. And I actually had a better experience making friends. Like, this was probably better than making friends in college, trying to make friends in high school and middle school. It's like you go out and you instantly connect with them because they're thinking like you. They're thinking, oh, I need to put myself out there. And for you to do it, right? Because I've seen a few videos on TikTok where it's like, oh my God, okay, we're going to go out, we're going to socialize, and we're just going to have a good time. And it's like you have all that anxiety, and then you do it. And then like you get this adrenaline rush, and it's like, oh my God, okay, that wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. And then you do it again. And then who would have thought that you would get comfortable? See, when you step outside of your comfort zone and you stay consistent with something, you start to get comfortable with putting yourself out there. Nobody ever talks about that. So now, y'all, I be going places all the time by myself. And it's crazy because I still go out by myself all the time, but I also have made friends along the way. And now I just feel liberated. I'm like, damn, I could go, I could do whatever. I'm going to travel, meet people. I could talk to anybody. And like, that's where I'm at in life right now. So I'm just going to say how I got here was, I said, I deserve new people in my life that care about me. That's it. And listen, before I got to this, because there's levels, there's phases. Okay, so before I got to this point, I was on some no new friends, fuck bitches, like I can't stand women, like I will never be friends. Like that was. I'm just being honest. Can we be honest? No, I wasn't acting unbothered. I was very much bothered. I was very much hurt, and I was mad as hell. All right, it took everything in me not to react. But I was like, God, handle this for me. I remember I was like, God, handle this for me. And then I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. And I was like, I'm not going to be vengeful. I'm not going to be spiteful. I'm not going to react. I said, God, handle this for me. Please handle this for me. And when you give it to God, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And I was in my other apartment. I remember I was in the kitchen. I had these gnats and flies all in my apartment. Didn't even know what the shit was. Y'all remember, if you follow me on Instagram, y'all remember when I had that gnat issue and I'm on Instagram doing this? On Instagram Live, and I was like, why I got all these damn gnats? And I was trying to get rid of them, and it didn't matter what I did, I could not get rid of them damn gnats. And I was on TikTok trying to look up videos like, damn, how can I get rid of these gnats? And why all of a sudden I got gnats? I'm like, damn, is it my plants? Like, then I started reaching out to this green thumb, and I was like, what do you put in your soil to like keep the gnats away? I had never had this issue. And then I'm new to the South. So I'm thinking it's like, damn, maybe it's just the South. Y'all, it was monitoring spirits. So I was being gang stalked. So while I'm on live talking to y'all, they watching and spying on me. I can't make it up. I cannot make it up. And y'all, it was so obnoxious. If you remember, if you were on Instagram Live, if you remember, I was literally doing this. Damn, all these damn gnats. It was that bad. It was that bad. It was bad, girl. That was a mess. So listen, it was during that time, y'all, I was mad as hell, y'all. I was so mad. It took everything in me, and I knew I was being stalked online, which was further I was being further bullied by grown ass women. Some of them got kids and all type of shit, and they just sitting up watching me. Like, that's weird, but I'm flattered at this point because I remember when no one mentioned my name. I remember when no one cared about me. I remember nobody was paying me any attention. I was a wallflower. So now all of a sudden, it's like people are glued to their screens, keeping up with every little thing that I'm doing. It's very weird. And so yeah, all I got is the gnats. It was crazy. How did I get rid of them? Let me tell you what I did. So I spiritually was led to go block anybody that associated with them. That's what I did. I blocked her mama, her sister, her brother, her cousin. I blocked her whole crew of friends. And then all of a sudden, the gnats, they went away. I blocked the 8-year best friend. I blocked T, which was her other friend. I blocked her. I blocked everybody got blocked. If I saw a photo with them and they was hanging out, blocked. I blocked everybody. And then the gnats went away. The flies went away. They just magically disappeared. I didn't do anything different. There was no vinegar, Dawn soap, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. They just magically just disappeared. So yeah, insane, right? And then that's how I ended up. I don't even know. Like, spirit leads you to like do certain things you don't even know. But I ended up looking into it. That's how I ended up knowing that gnats and flies are monitoring spirits. And so that's why my ancestors, my spirit team, my angels, God was like sending me these gnats because I was being called to like block them because they were like monitoring me. They were sending me evil eye. And y'all, it was crazy because during this time, like I was gaining weight and I didn't know why. I was inflammatory too. Like if you looked at me, like I just looked like I was just swollen. I would have to show you some pictures. Like I just look very swollen, like even in the face. If you go back during that time about 2 years ago, you would see that it was taking a physical toll on my body. It was crazy. And then it was like, I'd never been through anything like this before. I didn't even know what I was actually dealing with. I didn't even know how bad it really was until I actually started. My spirit was just telling me, look into this, do this. And that's when I was like, oh, like I'm being evil eyed and people are wishing bad things on me. People was wishing bad health, brokenness, like finance, like bad finances. What else? Pregnancy. Like people was wishing, and then I started lighting return to senders. Guess who got all those problems? Not me. It ain't me. I ain't pregnant. I don't got no kids. I lost the weight that I gained temporarily. And then what else? My money it stopped acting funny, because during that time my money was even acting funny. And I was like, damn, like I haven't really done anything different. Okay. Yeah, like y'all, I had never experienced mean girl behavior like this. It was new for me. It was very new. It was new. I think you could kind of see how swollen my face was during this time. My hair is cute though. But yeah, this is when I was being heavily, heavily attacked. You see it in my eyes and everything. I was being heavily, heavily attacked. It was crazy. Somebody said, whoa. I know, but it was bad. I got pictures for days, honey. I do. Because I did not know what I was dealing with. I did not know what I was dealing with. And then look, after, this is no makeup, no filter, no nothing. Just totally different. Totally different. Totally different. It's just insane. So yeah, that's my testimony. I wanted to give y'all this story time because I hope you learn from it for real. Because I never in my life have I ever experienced anything like this before. It was definitely a teachable moment. I'm very grateful for the lesson. I am, like, but damn, it was a lot. Oh yeah, you can see the sadness. It was a mess. It was a mess. The last time that happened to me, let me show you. This was after the narc. Y'all see my eyes? Same thing, sadness. Then I'm smiling. Damn, am I high though? Did I smoke a little of that? I don't know. I may have been on that, but you see how I'm fighting again? The narc did that shit. Let me see. Cause I feel like I have a worse one in here. I'm just happy. I want y'all to know that I'm happy. Okay. I'm happy now. And that's why I'm like, ain't nobody ruining this for me either. Cause nope. Nobody is ruining this for me. So if you're trying to come in and sabotage it, it's not happening. I'm just gonna block you. And that's another thing. My block game, it's on point. It really is. It is on point. I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, this is when I met them in middle school. This is when I met them. I probably should have did this before. That's crazy. But yeah, that was me in middle school. That was my middle school photo. That's crazy. I just came across that. Oh, let me see. Ooh. Girl, when you got an energy vampire in your life, that was the narc too. That was the narc. That, ooh wee. Okay, that was the narc. That's why I don't have a P.O. box, because I get stalked by him as well. It's crazy. I got a few stalkers, y'all. Damn, I'm trying to find that photo where you could really see it in my face. That's when I learned about cortisol. After I had went through this experience with this whole betrayal thing, I also learned more about how your cortisol levels can be imbalanced. I didn't know anything about that, but I got this book. It was Insulin Resistant, How to Heal Your Gut Health. And I learned about insulin resistant cortisol levels and things like that. That's when I learned about hormonal balancing and things. I have the book still. I kept the book because, girl, that was a game changer for me. That's when I started getting educated on what my body was experiencing, what it was going through. And keto wasn't working anymore because I was stressed. It was the cortisol. I was really stressed. So I guess I'm just not gonna find it. It's just, I guess I'm just not gonna find it. I guess it's not meant for me to find. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with y'all. Now, do y'all have any questions before I log out? Because I was like, I said earlier, save your questions for later. Did y'all want to ask me anything? All my spiritual content, which I'm gonna get back over there. I gotta be consistent. I'm just being honest with y'all. I need to be consistent. But if I do show back up over there, no, it's not if. When I do show back up over there, can you just give the video a like and a thumbs up? Because y'all, the reason why I'm struggling with this channel is because I gotta go. I'll post the books to my Instagram, Yoni's Lifestyle. I'll post it on that Instagram, the 2 books that I read. But can you give me a like and a follow over there? Like, and what is the like and a follow about? It's about motivating me to post another video. Like, because y'all, it's the editing. I'm being honest. Like, I got a little too comfortable with the lives. I ain't even gonna hold you, girl, because I be like, I be recording stuff and I'll be like, oh man, I don't feel like editing. And I don't like how other people edit. I don't like how I tried getting an editor. I did not like it. So then I was just like, I have to edit these videos myself. So that's the only thing that I ask is, can you just give me some engagement and I will come back over there, because that's going to keep me going. Oh yeah. The mean girl to nurse pipeline. Y'all, for real. Because I was like, girl, you're an evil person. You shouldn't be taking care of nobody. Because you don't like you. I just assumed like she would have like some type of sympathy, or not sympathy, empathy. For you to be a caretaker and a caregiver, there's empathy that is required for that job. And she don't have that. She don't have that at all. I would not want her touching me. And that's just me being real, because how you bully me and do all of this weird stuff and like you don't stop. Like, you see I'm not in a good place and you still keep going and you still keep talking about me and you still keep trying to get people on your side when you know what you did. That is like, I never seen, like, and me, I'm the type of person where I have empathy. I'm like, man, if somebody came to me and told me like this is what the issue is or whatever, right? I would never treat them like that. I would never treat them how she treated me. She tried to make it seem like something was wrong with me. And I'm over here confronting her about her slick comments, her slick remarks. And the slick comments and remarks were pertaining to her body shaming me and stuff. It was just crazy. So I didn't understand that. That's why I was like, girl, I'm just confronting you about how you've been talking to me lately, which is crazy. And she just somehow we ended up in a fallout. That's when you know, like, if you trying to talk to your friend and they're not even trying to hear you out or at least try to understand where you're coming from, it's time to cut them off. Okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I did not know. I didn't see the questions. Okay. How do you do a return to sender? I'm gonna need to record that video on my Patreon so I can show you how to do a return to sender properly. But listen, I always warn people, before you like them return to senders, your energy needs to be pure. Because if you wishing bad on them, when you like that return to sender, now it's gonna come back on you. You get what I'm saying? So if you still at that stage of bitterness, it's not, and I wouldn't like that yet. Okay, when you like that, you got to be in a good place, and so you don't have nothing come back on you. Okay, wait. Slow down. The hair I got from YP Wigs. No, not YP Wigs. YWigs.com. I got double strand. I think it's called double strand. Curly. Deep curly. Okay. This style is called Gypsy. Like, if you want to see more curly pieces and not that many braids, Gypsy. If you want to see more braids and a sprinkle of curly pieces, then Bohemian. She used 2 bundles, and I think she used 2 bundles of, was it 20? It was either 22 or 24 inches. I can't remember. Okay. And I got this hair on sale. I think I paid like $80 for 2 bundles. It was a really good deal. Okay, Yoni, let me tell you, you sparked my ascension journey, and I found out I'm a whole psychic now, reading tarot and everything. Way more to the story, of course, but so grateful that you shared. You're welcome. Yeah, I think I have a lot of it's not even I think. I know I have a lot of mystics that follow me, a lot of seers. I know I do. Okay, this is a good one. How do you maintain boundaries with mutual friends of someone you cut off while not getting the mutual friends too involved? The boundary is you just ask them like, hey, when you're around this person, can you not bring me up, and I won't bring them up when we hang out. And if that doesn't work and things get messy, then you may just have to cut off that friend. But see, Lexi, she was the type of person where she honored my boundaries. She respected my boundaries. So it really depends on how that friend responds to you setting a boundary with them, and if they respect it or not. And then that will determine whether or not they respect you. And then that's when your self-love should step in. Okay, they're not respecting me, so I need to just go ahead and let this friendship go. And then you're going to have to go through the grieving process of letting a friendship go. Oh, yeah, cut off friends. Yeah, wish them well. Don't keep the malice. It's a burden. Any other? Yeah, Y Weeks actually has some good qualities. Good quality. I'm shocked. I'm very shocked by that. Okay. In the spiritual, not just physical, and learn to remove anger. Girl, I was doing everything, praying, lighting candles. Yeah, like that is so true. And yes, like when you're going through spiritual attacks like that, you got to get your prayer. Listen, it got to be A1. You need to go ahead and pull out Psalms 91, Psalms 23. Go ahead and dust your Bible off if you ain't seen it in a while, because girl, you need to go ahead and start reading some scripture. Okay? So I'm going to tell you Psalms 91. I think is it Psalms 23 or 123? Oh no. Psalms 23 too. Just listen, when you're going through spiritual warfare, just take out the whole book of Psalms and just start reading it page to page, honestly. Seriously, because y'all, I have never experienced anything like that ever before. Okay? Nothing in my life. And then nothing. Well, I can't say nothing, because by this time I had already dealt with the narc, and that was a major spiritual attack. And then this was another spiritual attack. So I kind of already had a good understanding of what to do. And this time I was not backing down. I had just got done dealing with the narc. That required me to stand up for myself. And I never had to stand up for myself like that. And this time I was not backing down. I didn't care who I had to face. I didn't care if it was 200 people. I knew what I went through. I knew what I experienced. I validated myself. I didn't give a fuck if you believe me or not. I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn. And then towards the end of it, y'all, I got real snappy with people, because I was like, y'all really got me fucked up. Y'all really do. So then I stepped into my villain ear, and I was just like, hell no, y'all not about to try to make it seem like I did something to you when I know I haven't done anything. I know I have not done anything. So I had to validate myself too. It's insulin. Don't I have this in my Amazon store? I'm pretty sure I do. Let me look it up on my phone, because I think it's just gonna be easier. I think I have this book. I think I have both of these books in my Amazon store. Let me see. Pretty sure. Because y'all, anything that I do, I try to put y'all on ASAP, especially if it worked. Okay, no, that's maybe it's health. Oh yeah. Because I ended up getting this cookbook and I started making meals from this cookbook. Ooh, intuitive eating is huge for the spiritual girlies as well. So I looked into anti-inflammatory diet, thyroid, because I was trying to figure out like is this a thyroid issue? Is it inflammatory? Also, I was trying to work on my intuitive, like switching from being a patriarchal eater to an intuitive eater. And then also there's this book called it's all in my Amazon store. So I ordered Healthy Gut, Flat Stomach, the Insulin Resistance Diet Plan and Cookbook. And then I also educated myself on the insulin resistant diet. But hold your wallet, okay? If I were to do it again, depending on what your issues are, I would decide what book you should get. So some of you may not struggle with insulin issues. You may just struggle with intuitive eating. And then some of you may actually struggle with anti-inflammatory. So maybe you should get the cookbook. Or you may struggle with inflammatory issues. So you may want to get the anti-inflammatory diet. It just depends on what your needs are. Don't go in and just buy all of these books. Like I was really trying to figure out what it was. And I was just trying to like research to see what the issue was. So it was both spiritual and I call it patriarchy eating. Patriarchal eating, because no, for real, y'all, they got us eating like morning, noon, and night, and you're supposed to eat intuitively. You're not. They got us on a system. A system when it comes to eating. So I don't really follow that. It's a good book. I feel like it's a good book. It also came with I also got these flashcards too. It's a whole thing. I don't think the flashcards are in there, but yeah, like intuitive eating is a real thing. Okay, but don't go in here buying up everything. Just buy what you think fits your situation. Okay, because like don't go buying up everything. Just buy what you think you need. No, for real. That book really changed my whole mindset on like my daily routine when it comes to food. I'm like, dang. So just be careful about that. Look into what I'm saying. Intuitive eating. You may even be able to just do some research online about that. You may not even need to buy the book, but intuitive eating is like a real thing. I'm for real. Did y'all have any other questions though before I log out? Because I do need to go. I need to power lift today, my lower body. I think it also helps to eat according to our blood type. That too. Yeah, the portion sizes, all of that. All of that. And then also fasting and everything is great. Oh, go power lift. Okay. Well, this was fun. Please give the video a thumbs up. And like I said, if you see me on my other channel, like I just need some motivation. That's all I'm asking. Just a little like, a little comment. Even if you just put a heart emoji, that's going to do a lot for me because, girl, it's the editing. That's why y'all haven't seen me over there. It really is the editing. Okay. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day, and I'll see you in my next one.